So, funny story. Usually, between recording and seeing a movie, my notebook spends a lot of time in my car, because it's just easier that way.
Oh, let me guess, it got covered in vanilla Coke.
No, the funny part is,
Okay.
I affirmed that it was in my car this afternoon, and I was thinking about what we're reviewing this week, and my first thought was, what is it, Alien?
I already forgot about the movie topic.
I did.
Very encouraging.
Then I remembered.
And then got sad.
And then I got a little sad, because I went, oh, dang. That's another week gone by.
Dang, we gotta talk about this other one.
Yeah. Welcome to Under the Bridge, everybody.
Welcome to Under the Bridge.
Did you say Under the Bridge?
No, I thought I said Under the Bridge.
Okay. Well, I'm Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll.
And I am Greg, aka Greg.
And this is our podcast, where we talk news of the pop culture variety. Sometimes gaming news, sometimes comic news, pretty much always movie news, and also pretty much always a movie review.
Caca in pain, motherfuckers.
I'm gonna have to bleep that, thanks.
Sorry.
So make sure to ring the like button and smash that bell.
Smash that bell.
Like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Share the video around if you like this kind of thing.
You're getting better at that bit.
Yeah, because I edited out the long pause while I tried to remember it.
Oh, okay. Fair.
That's neither here nor there. First on the docket, technically, it's not really gaming, comic, or movie news. It's actually more chicken news.
Eat more chicken, indeed.
Yeah, apparently, Chik-Fil-A is planning to launch its own streaming platform with a slate of original content.
What the hell is Chick-fil-A original content? Is it evangelical dipping sauce reviews? What are we going to get out of that?
We don't know. Apparently they've been looking at family-friendly shows, particularly unscripted ones, including a family-friendly game show from Glassman Media, and Michael Sugar's Sugar 23, which is behind series like Netflix's 13 Reasons Why.
No. I mean, okay, well, in that aspect, yes, because to me, that sounds like a wonderful, wonderful potential for some chaotic filming from a studio like that.
I can't...
Chick-fil-A streaming service, we have officially gone to hell.
We are in a dystopia. We are in a dystopia.
Yes.
Chick-fil-A streaming service. Dystopia. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Society is falling up. Chick-fil-A streaming service. Dystopia.
So, what do you think is the worst part about that? The fact that Chick-fil-A has a streaming service, or the fact that Chick-fil-A is creating a streaming service 5 years at least too late?
I think it's the fact that Chick-fil-A creating its own streaming service is a newsworthy item.
I mean, it's newsworthy for sure, but it's...
That's the worst part, though.
Yeah.
That is the worst part, that I saw this and immediately felt obligated to cover it.
Yeah, oh god, so I wonder if this does well, what else is on the table at that point for, like, fast food streaming services?
I'll level with you, I haven't paid for a Chick-fil-A sandwich in probably over a year. I'm certainly not paying for their streaming content.
I'm not paying for it either, but I'm curious as, like, if this does really well, like, what would Burger King original content look like? Maybe they would just have the thing being brought into the throne, like, on repeat, because it's like, it's the king, but not with a burger. They, like, edit burgers into the whole ceremony with Photoshop or what have you.
It's just a non-stop, on-loop Let's Play of Sneak King and Pocket Bike Racer.
Oh no, that would just be straight torture. Ugh.
We need to do those again.
Yeah, I don't know about again.
But my favorite thing about this whole thing, that really kind of highlights the absurdity of the whole thing, it's not even a sentence, it's just a sentence fragment. And
oh boy.
It's the most obvious thing in the world, but it really does highlight the entire... It's just Chick-fil-A, known for its fried chicken sandwiches. And
it's Chick-fil-A, known for its fried chicken sandwiches, its really expensive fried chicken sandwiches, its extreme disdain for LGBTQ people, and for not having services on Sundays.
Once you say the phrase Chick-fil-A known for its fried chicken sandwiches, it really sinks in, wow, this is a ridiculous goddamn enterprise, isn't it? What a silly idea!
Chick-fil-A, known for its fried chicken sandwiches, is going to start making media for consumption.
Like the chicken?
I just thought of an interesting thing. I wonder if they would try to entice people by, like, working coupons into the showing.
Oh, scan this QR code and get a free... Ah!
Yeah. I can see that, because again,
No!
Because we're in a dystopia.
We're in a dystopia.
This is probably them planning shit for the next, 20 years.
Apparently the programming charge is being led by Brian Gibson, whose work includes work on the Top Gear remake and Fox's adaptation of X Factor.
I mean, I don't know about X Factor, but the Top Gear remake or remakes, did it specify it was Top Gear USA or Top Gear in Britain?
It said History's Top Gear remake, so I assume US.
Not great. That's not exactly... The show was carried hard by its host, but otherwise it was not a good show. I feel like my biggest fear is that there's a genuine banger on this streaming service. Oh, one where it's... I'm gonna have to give these people money to watch this, because it's apparently really good.
No. I don't even care about the giving the money thing, because I won't. Wink, wink. Mm-hmm. Don't pirate, kids, but, if you happen to be sailing the 7 seas and you find... But that's not important.
Yes. Oh my god. At which point YouTube just shuts down our show completely.
Well, I wasn't planning on keeping that in. Maybe I'll put it backwards. Can I reverse audio? Oh, I'll have to figure that out. I gotta tinker with that.
Yeah, no, if you do, let me know for sure. I can think of fun things to do with that information.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think just from I don't want to call it spiritual perspective, but from an artistic perspective, the most terrifying thought to me is this producing this cynical, big, giant, fast food, anti-LGBTQ chicken organization. Managing to produce actual, genuine, quality streaming content. I don't
think they're capable of it being quality.
No,
personally.
But the thing is, interesting things can come from literally anywhere.
Fair.
My worst fear is somehow stumbling upon something from this and having the reaction like Nicolas Cage watching Paddington 2 for the first time, just going, it's a masterpiece.
This has been missing from my life the entire time.
That was my reaction to Mean Girls. I can't have it be a Chick-Fil-A streaming original that elicits the same reaction.
The 2 times that Cody gets an epiphany from watching something. Mean Girls and Chick-Fil-A original television.
No, Mean Girls 2004 legitimately changed my life a little bit. Anyways, what a stupid idea. I can't wait to see how this unfolds. I hope it crashes and burns.
I kind of hope it crashes and burns, too.
Let's see, what do I got? What else do I got? Oh, right! The Megalopolis trailer.
Yeah, so there was apparently...
Well, let's not bury the lead. I'm probably gonna cut off what you just said, just so we can build to it. So...
Oh, so there's more.
You have to set the scene, you have to tell it in the right order.
Okay, fair.
So... Lionsgate released a Megalopolis trailer earlier this week. That's Francis Ford Coppola's upcoming movie, which is apparently reactions are mixed, but the production of it has been apparently a big, giant fucking disaster. And
oh, fun.
Also, reports of Coppola's behavior on set have not been great, and just recently, he said something to the effect of, I'm not looking to make some woke project. We got people who were canceled years ago on this, which is always encouraging.
That's a great sign leading up to this movie.
Oh, that's how you know it's quality.
Yeah, oh boy.
So, this latest trailer came out, full of negative review quotes from critics, allegedly, for previous Coppola movies. The obvious comparison being, yes, this is a divisive movie, but Coppola's movies tend to be divisive at launch, and only later did they gain the appreciation they deserve, is the point being made with these quotes.
Right.
But there's a caveat, and that caveat is, none of these quotes appear to be correctly attributed to Coppola movies.
Oh, really?
Most of them are made up.
Oh.
And
oh, boy.
I think there was one that was verified. It said it was Roger Ebert about when he made when Coppola made Bram Stoker's Dracula in the 80s, except it's an Ebert quote, but the Ebert quote isn't for Bram Stoker's Dracula, it's for 1989 Tim Burton's Batman.
I feel like that's a potential legal issue? Not so much the fake ones, even though I feel like that should be a crime, because that's, one could argue that'd be false advertising. But in particular, using a quote from somebody else for a completely unrelated project, to use that to promote your project and in an effort to make money off of it. I feel like there's at least some legal sketchiness going on with that.
Oh no, definitely. The whole thing is sketch, because you can't just... in a major advertising thing like this, I don't think you can really get away with saying, oh yeah, this person said this person said this, and they actually didn't. But Lionsgate pulled the trailer and released an apology.
Okay.
They said, we offer our sincere apologies to the critics involved and to Francis Ford Coppola and American Zoetrope for this inexcusable error in our vetting process. We screwed up. We are sorry.
Why are they apologizing to Coppola?
Well, because, let's say you made a movie.
Oh god, that's a terrifying prospect.
Would you want the studio responsible for distributing it releasing something like that? Because that reflects poorly on you.
Oh, fair. I don't know. I figured with the things I've heard in regards to Coppola that he saw that I was just like, yeah, no, that's good shit.
I assume he'd probably about face when he found out all the quotes were fake.
Fair.
Anyways, it was also reported that Lionsgate, have parted ways with Eddie Egan, the marketing consultant who came up with the trailer.
Oh, nice.
Sources have said to Variety, it was an error in properly vetting and fact-checking the phrases provided. So, the general speculation is somebody just went into ChatGPT and said, hey, can you pull up some negative reviews for Francis Ford Coppola movies? And because AI is nonsense, it spat that out, and nobody bothered to double check. So on the upside, I'm feeling pretty secure as a low-tier, Z-grade podcaster in the YouTube entertainment space. I'm feeling pretty secure that AI ain't even taking my job. And this isn't even a job. I don't get paid.
Oh, that's so good.
That's amazing.
It is very good. I need to see if someone... I'm not going to watch it right now, but I need to see if someone saved the trailer.
I'm sure it's somewhere. I just didn't bother to watch it or put it on trailer time because it got recalled and because I thought the scandal itself was funnier than talking about the trailer, but... That's
fair.
No, just... it's gonna be devastating financially when this AI tech bubble bursts, just because, again, you cannot sink that much money in this kind of industry, have it flail around in the dark for 2 years and then come up with no results and have everybody abandon ship and not have that devastate a bunch of people who don't deserve it just because that's how capitalism works. But
what I'm hoping for is that there's at least a few people, maybe a group of people, who are looking at everything from the inside in and going, oh, we're screwed. We need to, invest and use the money that we're making for the right reasons. So we can, when this bubble bursts, we're not homeless at the end of it.
No, the people who invested, not the people who invested, I should say, because some of them are probably people who genuinely thought this was a good idea because they got suckered in. All the level 1 grifters who've been building this stupid pyramid scheme from the ground up, they deserve to go homeless, which is why they're not going to be the ones who do. But it's going to be really funny watching them freak out.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. I can't speak to the rest of it though. Speaking of AI, let's go to pay your fucking everyone. Pay your fucking
everyone.
I'm glad we updated the segment.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I miss the simplicity. I miss the purity of pay your fucking writers. But I think this is an improvement.
Actors. Yeah. Right.
So, this is related to the SAG-AFTRA strike regarding video game AI protections, but it's really more about why CEOs really don't deserve to make any money.
Oh boy, that's encouraging. What do we got?
Yeah, listen to this subhumanoid. Amazon Game CEO Christoph Hartmann, while speaking with IGN, he was basically talking about AI, hoping it can speed up the development process, because it takes 5 years per game for AAA studios, according to him. But when it comes to the SAG-AFTRA strike, he said, I gotta be careful what is here because we're a big company and have to deal with all those organizations, so I don't really want to get in the middle of it. But when we talk about... He's about to get in the middle of it.
I was to say, but here I
go, getting in the middle of it!
There's that big... Who do you use in, Cinema Synergy? Tim Drake?
Oh, yeah, no, that's Dick Grayson.
Dick Grayson? It's there's that big Dick Grayson butt.
Yeah. But when we talk about AI, first of all, hopefully it will help us to have new gameplay ideas, which has nothing to do with taking work away from anyone. And it's... Yep.
What a stupid thing to say.
But wait, there's more!
Okay.
And especially for games, we don't really have acting. The majority of the team sits in programming, and that's not going to go away because that's all about innovation. If it takes something, it will be really the boring parts.
There's no acting in video games, you say?
No acting in video games. Not really any acting, according to him.
May I present things like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Armored Core.
Literally anything with voice acting in
anything
it.
with voices. Anything with voices. Anything with audio cues of any kind.
Anything with
Pretty much
mocap.
anything with a dog.
Anything that requires bringing in a human or other... Predominantly a human, because I guess...
Predominantly human.
You don't really need to pay dogs for their acting.
You pay them with, like, scratches and good boys.
You give
and
them
girls.
treats, and you probably pay their owners. But for humans in particular, anything that involves simulating something that will help deliver a more realistic human performance, again, like mocap, or, voice acting, because it's right there in the name.
It's right frickin' there.
Is acting. So, shut the fuck up, you stupid man.
That is especially hilarious considering this past weekend. I probably should have mentioned this, but I don't think there was anything we could have talked about gaming-wise that both of us wanted to speak about. We had Gamescom this past weekend, and one of the things shown at Gamescom is a show coming to Amazon Prime about... It is basically an anthology series of different episodes inspired by video games. And what do those have?
Oh.
Actors! Voice actors!
I saw that!
Yes, a big one being, for me personally, there's going to be an episode inspired by Armored Core, starring Keanu Reeves. And it's all being bankrolled by Amazon. And this chucklefuck is part of that. Very minimum by proxy, because I don't think the show is being directly handled by Amazon Games. But the fact that he's one of the CEOs, it's kind of a thing of like, hey, you know this like project you have coming out where it's a bunch of anthology episodes inspired by various video games throughout history, and they have actors and voice actors and other shit? Yeah, maybe you should shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Oh, wait, there's another little bit here, too, that also exposes how stupid he is.
Oh, boy.
Okay, I really shouldn't be throwing this much shade at a man that I've never met, never will meet, and has never done anything to me personally.
I mean, that's all fair, but at bare minimum, saying there's no acting in video games, really, is a dumb thing to say.
And knowing that somebody gets paid however much he gets paid to make big-scale decisions while being that stupid.
Yeah.
It hurts and offends me.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Ugh.
He said, I think what could be super helpful is localization. Right now, we're localizing our games into a certain set of languages. Basically, does it commercially make sense to have it in a language, yes or no? Having AI actually will help us. That's why I'm thinking it's not going to make it cheap, it's just going to make us translate our games into more languages, which is great for gamers because there's countries which maybe not everybody speaks perfect English, and they would love to have in a local language, but they're half the size.
All right, and then Gregory on the Under the Bridge podcast is bringing to the stage the guy who used fake AI quotes in the Megalopolis trailer. What could possibly go wrong?
My brother in Christ, people have managed to trick ChatGPT into thinking it misspelled a word by telling it misspelled a word.
Yes.
AI is not going to localize properly because AI can't capture the nuance of language. It's not that smart.
No.
You need actual translators to take the things that don't translate well and make it flow.
Yeah.
I'm astounded.
Which is also, I mean, and again, doing that and having people actually there to say the lines is once again a form of acting, even if it's in a different language.
Can't stress it enough. That's acting.
Yeah.
Although technically localization is writing.
So now we're back to pay your fucking writers.
We're back to pay your fucking writers! Full circle! Alright, sweet!
We've gone full circle!
Yeah!
No one's learned anything after or overall, like from the start of like the first SAG-AFTRA strikes to now. Has it been almost 2 years?
No, the SAG-AFTRA strike was last year.
Okay, so it's been almost a year where we had a bunch of actors get stopped working, which shut down one of, if not the biggest media industry on the planet.
We're still feeling the impact of that.
We're still feeling the impact of that, and people in big higher-ups have not learned a single goddamn thing. We are so back. Depressing.
Let's move on to a company that's slightly less depressing in this instance, and slightly less
oh boy.
foot and mouth, but only a little bit.
Only a little bit.
Yeah, I have a positive update on that wrongful death suit aimed at Disney.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, this actually broke between us recording last week and uploading it, and I was like, I'm not gonna insert a whole thing here in the middle of the episode about, okay, so there was an update, I'm just gonna put it in next week, so here we are. Disney has waived their right to arbitration after previously arguing that due to the mourning husband signing up for a Disney Plus trial, he waived the right to take them to court.
It's still so... I mean, I don't want to say good, because it's one of those things where, yeah, that's the correct thing to do, but I don't want to say that's a good thing because Disney didn't come to that conclusion going, you know what? That's a stupid fucking clause. No, they came to that conclusion after viciously losing the court of public opinion.
Yeah, what happened was, you got rightfully bullied into reversing course. You don't...
Yeah.
Which makes this statement that their experiences chairman said even more egregious, honestly, because he said, including the clearing the throat, I assume.
Yeah, it's... I gotta get this bullshit out of my throat.
At Disney, we strive to put humanity above all other considerations. yeah, I couldn't even finish the sentence. He's already started. He's already started. I can't believe it either.
It's like, man, I couldn't even finish the sentence there. Once again, broadly gestures at all the crap you did to this poor husband last week.
With such unique circumstances as the ones in this case, we believe the situation warrants a sensitive approach to expedite a resolution for the family who have experienced such a painful loss. As such, we've decided to waive our right to arbitration and have the matter proceed in court.
Oh, that's funny.
That's It's funny, but dystopia. We're in a dystopia. We live in a dystopia.
I
Forget
can't
a
believe
society.
God, I think that's the fastest I've ever lost it at someone's quote. I didn't even get through like 3/4 of that first sentence.
No, because it's such horse shit.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's genuinely very good.
Oh, and then this one's also sad. Also, it's sad that it's like, oh yeah, we're just gonna let it go to court, not, actually pay the guy, unless somebody orders us to.
Yeah, it's like, we're not gonna, settle and let this guy get on with his life.
Well, settling would be arbitration.
Fair.
So they could just offer him whatever he's asking, or they could just let it go to court, which implies that they're pretty confident that they're gonna win.
I mean, I feel like the thing to do there would just be to give him whatever the hell he wants. Because if they're afraid of, I don't know, someone, trying to do a copycat thing, yeah, it's like, man, we can't, do that, because then people are just gonna, die at our parks.
Yeah.
It's the whole meme of the guy just looking at the camera with, the question marks just popping up around his head. It's like, what? That's the only thing. Maybe it's because I have some degree of empathy, but that's the only reason I can think of for carrying this to court and not just we'll just give this dude what he wants so we can all move on with our lives.
Yeah, that would have been the smart thing.
Yeah, because whatever he wants as well, I can only imagine would be just a tiny drop in the bucket financial-wise for Disney of all places.
Yeah. Speaking of a drop in the bucket for Disney, so back in February, a rigger on the set of Wonder Man, the Marvel Studio show they still haven't announced,
right,
unfortunately died. He was collecting and removing lighting cable equipment on one of the stages, and per a report from OSHA...
Ooh.
Yeah. As the crew walked along the catwalks, the employee stood on the weakened section of catwalk. Suddenly, and without warning, the ledger supporting the floorboard broke apart and collapsed as the employee was standing on this section of catwalk. The employee fell 41 feet and forcefully impacted the ground below.
Oh, that sucks.
It does.
Oh, that's bad.
And
damn.
Disney's been fined $36,000 accordingly, which...
That's it?
Yeah, for them, chump change. I mean, I'm sure that amount would mean a lot for the man's family, assuming he has any.
Mm-hmm.
The article doesn't mention it.
Right.
No, this article doesn't seem like it mentions it. But, and this one's just scuttlebutt, so this isn't officially confirmed, and also it's per Variety, so take it with a grain of salt, but also they're an actual trade source, so I'd expect them to have at least some idea.
Yeah.
Disney hasn't commented, but they're expected to try and appeal it. Just fucking pay it.
Yeah, just pay it.
They got you in an OSHA report. They got you in 4K.
Yeah, OSHA does not fuck around with that stuff. It's like they've got you there. The two big things, again, that I would be concerned about in the thought process of court of public opinion is that you got busted by OSHA and someone actually died on your property, which caused the OSHA write-up. between that and the whole thing of the mourning husband, you're already not doing great as far as shots on the court of public opinion, guys. Just settle up, especially if it's only $36K and whatever handful of legal fees come with that. I feel like the smart thing would be just settle up and call it a day.
Disney try not to be a heartless corporate monster challenge. Impossible.
Possible.
Gross.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I kept this in the pay your fucking everyone segment because I feel like this counts. Absolutely.
Yeah,
pay that fucking fine.
Yeah, I'd say that counts.
Pay your fucking OSHA.
Yeah, for real.
No, that's a really tragic loss, especially since it sounds like completely avoidable. So,
Yeah,
just fucking pay it, Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I was gonna bring this up last week, and then I cut it because I was running a little hot on it because of how sudden the news was. The Acolyte has apparently been canceled after one season at Disney+.
It's just canceled straight up. There's not going to be a second season or anything.
Yeah, there's been some debate on the exact verbiage, whether there was ever the expectation for a season 2, but I believe the showrunner said that they had ideas for one. So,
okay.
At the very least, it doesn't sound like it was entirely out of the realm of possibility that it might have gotten a season 2, but that is apparently not happening, although Disney has yet to issue an official statement. There's a lot to unpack with this. Pretty unfortunate from the perspective of a lot of... What's the word I'm looking for?
Creative talent?
No. Well, that's the sad part, because I don't think The Acolyte was anything groundbreaking, but I had fun with it. I think it was a good time. I especially fuck the Jedi, man. They're a bunch of incompetent cops.
You know what? I haven't watched the show any. And I do want to, because from the bits I've seen, it seems like it'd be something up my alley. But I remember people, I guess, were complaining about that the show paints the Jedi as being, like, kind of corrupted, incompetent nimwits. I'm like, have you seen the prequel trilogy?
Yeah, gee, it's almost like this is an institution that has to exist in such a state that two people can easily fuck all their shit up 100 years later. Wonder how they got there.
Yeah, for real. It's like, I wonder how that kernel was first planted, or what have you.
Wonder how we got there. It's almost like they've probably been like that for a while. Maybe thousands of years, who knows? What do I know?
Yeah, and I was seeing, like, people were, like, very upset about that. It's like, how could they paint the Jedi this way? It's a major story thread of Star Wars is how corrupted and up their own ass the Jedi were, and the ripple effect it's had throughout the Star Wars history.
Yeah. So, my original thought when this happened and was announced was, oh great, you're gonna let all the stupid anti-woke chuds who review bomb this series feel like they gotta win.
Yeah.
But, realistically speaking, probably has very little to do with them at all. Probably not even a consideration. What's more likely is that Star Wars content is prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
And as far as I can tell, The Acolyte got off to a decent start, but then kind of dropped off in terms of viewership. So from that perspective, I can see where, it probably makes sense from a financial perspective not to pursue this. But, God, I'm so sick of, this didn't instantly make a bunch of money. How was it gonna? It was never gonna. It's on Disney+.
It's on Disney+, and it is, again, from what I understand, because I haven't watched any of it, it's on Disney+, and it covers a portion of Star Wars history that, while still very interesting, doesn't have any overarching major implications for the main portions of the universe that everyone knows more intimately.
Actually, the ending kind of ties into some broader universe stuff, but...
Oh, does it really?
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it, but... No, like, it wasn't a perfect series by any stretch, but just this phenomenon, everything is Firefly now. Everything is getting canned after, like, one season, because nobody's willing to give it breathing room because it's not immediately returning results. That's fucking criminal, especially for something like Star Wars, which if there's any franchise that can afford to take big swings, that can afford to get experimental, that can afford to keep making new and different content from new and different corners of the universe with all kinds of creatives, it's Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars has a lot of wiggle room in that aspect. Part of it, honestly, is, and I feel like it doesn't get talked about a lot, but you see all the people who make a big deal and are just like the most horrific Star Wars fans and whatnot, who are like just the loud minority and whatnot. Well, as horrible as they are, if all you care about is finances, those people still tune in.
Yeah.
Alright, we still have a shit ton of people, I feel like at least, because I don't have the numbers in front of me or anything, but it's like, we still have a shit ton of people watching this in general. We're making some money off of it. We can afford to kind of get a little weird every now and again. It's Star Wars, so it's weird by default, too.
Yeah. But also, this is such a bad trend, particularly because how are you gonna get people to continue working on Star Wars stuff when half of your projects don't happen, they go in a turnaround, you decide to tack on a different direction or do less Star Wars content, and because you're not willing to let anything actually take the time to develop and find its voice unless it does fucking Mandalorian numbers?
Right.
It's depressing and unfortunate.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And I hope if they do something... It's also the least you could do. The literal least y'all could do is come out and say, oi, fuck all you guys who are immediately against this because there's women in it.
Yeah.
But you won't. The only time that ever happened was Ewan McGregor calling out all the hate for Moses Ingram on Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he did that on his own accord, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's unfortunate all around.
I don't know, I still hark back to, I'm not sure if I ever mentioned it on the podcast, but I remember watching the trailer for The Acolyte and being like, this actually looks solid, I don't get why this is getting review bombed and all that, and then reading more up on it, and then in particular there was one YouTube comment on someone who was showing like just the trailer. No opinion or anything like that, it was just the trailer. And the comment basically said something along the lines of this giant galaxy with millions of occupants and there's not a single white person in this trailer. It's like, oh, there it is!
Found him!
There it is! It's like, we got all these people like literally tripping over themselves trying to make excuses, and there was the one guy who is just straight up telling it like he is. He is a horrific asshole whose opinion should never be taken seriously. But I'll tell you what, at least they actually said what all these people are trying their best not to say, even though it's how they feel. Oh, you said
the racist part out loud!
Yeah, for real. We at least know to ignore him.
Yeah, props to that guy, whoever he is.
Yeah.
Because you know it's a he.
Yeah, for real.
Anyways, I got a little bit of good news, and actually, this is probably one of the most enthusiastic bits of news I've gotten reaction-wise in a while.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so that Vision series starring Paul Bettany for Disney Plus that's being worked on.
Mm-hmm.
We have confirmation that James Spader is back as Ultron. Let's fucking go!
Yay! We haven't heard from you since
2015!
Age of Ultron!
The Age of Ultron that only lasted like a couple of days!
Yeah, for real, which is kind of amazing in all honesty. Like, I feel like anything else that's Marvel that has a significant impact in an older movie or whatever usually comes back with more urgency than that. Even if it's in a more minor setup. That's a little wild.
I mean, kind of, but Marvel Studios also has the bad habit of they have let a few plot lines slip through and go completely unaddressed or resolve them off screen, like the Baron Mordo situation.
Right.
But this I like, and it was especially frustrating the idea that we might never see Ultron again, because if any villain has the ability to keep coming back over and over again, all it takes is one USB stick with his personality on it.
Yeah! Ultron is the reason why you don't put random USB sticks in your computer at your work.
Yeah, no, honestly, I was half expecting him to show up in WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it would have been really funny if there was an episode where he comes over for dinner and it's just actual James Spader.
That would be pretty good.
But he's still got the Ultron voice with the extra metallic robot effects on it.
Right.
Why do you call him Sir?
That would be pretty cool. That would be an excellent cameo of sorts.
Yeah. Anyways, allegedly it's also being said that this is not just a voiceover role. Now, James Spader did do the mocap for Ultron on the set of Age of Ultron. So, maybe that means he's not just like a voice in Vision's head, he's just back.
Okay.
I love it. I love this idea. I feel like I have a lot of problems with Age of Ultron, but Ultron himself isn't really one of them. My only real problem with Ultron is that offensively, he is not as menacing as he should be, but that's born out of Joss Whedon's incorrect decision that when the Avengers are united and working together, nothing can stop them. That's wrong. Lots of things can.
Wrong.
But
yeah, well, I don't know. It didn't happen with them together, but lots of things that happen, such as Nick Fury whispering sweet nothings in Thor's ear.
Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos. All of Thanos. Like, literally.
To be fair, they weren't all fighting together, but they did all take a swing at him, except Hawkeye.
Right. Yeah.
But, no, I'm super excited. I love Ultron's character. I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's just a whiny stupid little baby robot. Yeah, that's Ultron.
Yeah, that's his whole thing.
Ultron is a whiny little rage man baby robot.
Yeah, because he's also literally a few days old, too.
Yeah. Now all of his dysfunction just comes from Tony instead of Hank Pym, which I can see the arguments for. I know it's, and like, you know me, I'll argue about comic fidelity until the cows come home.
Right.
But I'm also for pragmatic adaptations where it counts, and I do think that Tony was a more natural choice to build Ultron just because mechanical engineering, come on, it's there.
It's right there.
It makes a lot more sense than Ant-Man doing it, is all I'm saying.
Right.
But no, very excited. I was already interested in Vision just because I like Paul Bettany as a character, and I wanted to see where this character thread was going after WandaVision happened, and then we haven't seen him again since.
Right.
And James Spader being back, just boom, through the roof my excitement goes. The best comment I've seen is, this reaction is how Marvel thought everybody was going to react to Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. Which, yeah, I jumped out of my seat, I went running to the nearest group of people I knew, and I went, James Spader's back as Ultron!
He did do that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you were there.
He did that while I was working, and I was very confused.
Upon this good rock I will build my church.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to trailer time.
Let's do trailer time.
It's trailer time again. We've got movie previews to watch. It's trailer time again. So we only got a couple trailers this week, one of which is Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim? Rohirrim?
Sure, you've probably pronounced it better than I have.
War of the Rothaga.
You know what's bad? Like, genuinely bad?
Yeah.
This is the most I've been interested in any Lord of the Rings thing ever, and a lot of it is because it's an animated series with really good animation, in all honesty.
Oh, it's a movie.
Oh, it's a movie?
It's a feature-length movie.
Oh, I thought this was going to be like a mini-series.
No, this is a feature-length movie, coming out in Christmas.
Oh!
In
all
Christmas,
right.
I said.
In Christmas. It's coming out in Christmas. Christmas comes, and the movie just, like, bursts out through Santa's stomach or some shit, like a freaking face hunter parasite.
It's just a chest burster xenomorph.
Yeah, it's just like, ho ho, ah!
Oh god, what a wretched idea.
What a wretched idea indeed. If you're listening to this, I hope you don't believe in Santa.
No, this makes me... What's there to believe in? He is real. Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
I hope there aren't any kids watching this. This is certainly... With the amount that we swear...
Yeah.
But I guess the thumbnail is pretty colorful, so I mean, if there aren't any kids watching, first of all, don't, but maybe point your parents at it. Second of all...
You know what? You just reminded me of a quick caveat.
Yep.
There's a automotive channel I used to follow pretty frequently, and when they first started going out doing videos, it was just a bunch of them just doing dumb things with cars, and the entirety of their channel is doing dumb things with cars, but with a lot more swearing. And the guy who ran the company said it's like, I actually went to a major industry event, and someone in the industry brought their little kid, and he's like, wait, you're from that channel, right? Yeah, I am. He's like, and the little kid who's like 10 years old just went, I watch all your fucking videos. Guys, we have to stop swearing in our videos. He's like, that's not great.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, first of all, point your parents at it. Second of all, Santa is real. But...
Yes.
Where was I going with this? Right, this actually makes me want to rewatch the first two Lord of the Rings and then actually sit down and watch the third, which I have still never done.
You are a better man than I, because I still maintain after watching the first movie, I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to watch, at the very least, I don't want to watch the live-action movies. This does interest me, though. Partially, I think it's because I don't know a lot about Lord of the Rings in general, so that's why I'm kind of into it. But this does interest me. The animation looks really cool. Yeah, I kind of want to see where it goes.
Also, it's from Kenji Kamiyama, who was a director, I think the director, on Ghost in the Shell standalone complex.
Ooh. Alright, that's cool.
Yeah.
I already interested. I mean, I'm interested in anything involving Ghost in the Shell, so...
I think this also catches my interest a little bit more just because it's explicitly 200 years before the main Lord of the Rings series, which doesn't mean much in terms of... Like, we could still see some familiar characters because I'm pretty sure some of the older characters like the elves and the Gandalfs and what have you are all multiple hundreds of years old, maybe even thousands. I don't know how time works in Middle-earth.
Right.
By which I mean I don't know longevity.
Right.
I don't know what the usual lifespan is for elves and Gandalfs, But he's a Maiar, a Maya, I want to say is like what Gandalf actually is. Because wizards are actually like angels, functionally, or something.
Right.
At least I think that's how that works. I don't know. But
I mean, you have a better idea than I do, in all honesty.
yeah, no, this looks really interesting. I do love the animation style. I like that it seems mostly like a contained conflict between two human kingdoms, but then you get a little hint of the Rings of Power stuff going on in the background, so that's neat.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't seen any of Rings of Power.
Once again, you still know more about that than I do.
But yeah, and it's, 4 months, roughly.
Yeah.
Alright. And then we also got a trailer for A24's Y2K.
Alright, so I feel like I need to start recording my reactions to when I see trailers now, because this one got me good. So it's first off Y2K, and it's being done by A24. Alright, this is already going to be a weird-ass movie, like, just by default. And then partway through just pops up from the studio that brought you Hereditary. And I'm like, oh, fuck this. Oh, no. I was both scared and laughing my ass off when I saw that. I'm just like, alright, so I am both scared but also deeply interested in this movie now, if you're gonna hit me with that.
Yeah, especially because it's a horror comedy, and it's based around the concept of Y2K, the bug that was anticipated might happen in 2000 that would cause all of our computers to crash, and ended up not happening, in no small part because a bunch of software engineers and other tech-adjacent people actually took the concern seriously and went out of their way to make sure it wasn't going to completely devastate anything, but...
Right.
in this movie, it causes pretty much all the electronics...
to fail.
To not just fail, but go on a murderous anti-human rampage.
Yeah, it's like, that Tamagotchi just drilled into that girl's head. It's like, whoa, okay. We are not playing around with this movie, are we?
That sentence, the delivery of that sentence made me laugh way more than I should have.
Yeah.
That is an objectively stupid line, but boy howdy, the cadence and the concept, amazing. Not to mention that so much of the trailer is scored to tub thumping, which I'm a sucker for that song.
Yeah, I was just like, when that came on, I was just like, okay, and we're going full I mean, it'd be stupid if they didn't, but alright, and we're like very accepting of the whole 99 to 2000 everything aesthetic. Honestly, when the dial-up tone came up, it's just like, oh boy, alright, I haven't heard that in forever.
Prepares to kill the guy with a lighter and aerosol, you've got mail.
Yeah. Oh, I lost it at that. I was just like, oh, that's just the most savage shit.
Also, Rachel Zegler and Julian Dennison are in it, and I like both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Because Julian Dennison was, he was Fire Fist, Rusty, in Deadpool 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
The kid going on about the prison wallet.
Yeah, I want to see this.
Oh, Fred Durst is himself in this.
Oh, he's probably gonna die.
Fred Durst, wow.
Yeah.
And Alicia Silverstone. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it's not that crazy. It's an A24 produced movie, so...
Yeah.
But no, that's... I cannot wait.
Yeah, I am very, very interested in this.
This is early December, too, so... Less than 4 months.
It is very much not that far away.
Nah. Oh god, we're almost done with 2024.
Oh, that's terrifying. Alright, the poster for this movie is, from an artistic standpoint, pretty great.
The one with the plug?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool poster. If I collected movie posters, I would 100% have that on my wall.
Ooh. This looks pretty evocative of, I want to say, 80s horror slasher movies. The poster for Chopping Mall, for example. It's a little more minimalist than the Chopping Mall poster, but the I hesitate to say lighting because it's for a poster, but...
Right.
Maybe it's not Chopping Mall. Maybe it's something else. What movie am I thinking of?
I can kind of sort of see Chopping Mall in it.
It's not Halloween. I'm thinking of a movie poster where it's just a knife, but it's lit the same way. Why can't I remember? Is it...
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
No, it's not Slumber Party Massacre.
That is a movie indeed.
Well, it'll come to me eventually.
Right.
In the meantime, let's talk box office.
Let's talk the box office.
we actually did see the highest grossing movie domestically for this weekend.
Are you fucking serious?
Several weeks ago, because it's Deadpool and Wolverine again.
Okay, I was gonna say no, absolutely not.
But I had you going.
Yes.
No, Deadpool and Wolverine took first place with only $18.3 million domestically this weekend.
Okay.
It is sitting at a $577.2 million domestic total and $1.21 billion worldwide. Still number 2 for worldwide releases this year. I don't think it's beaten Inside Out 2 at this point, but...
Yeah.
Hey, still beat Joker!
Still beat Joker, so small victories.
Yeah, take it where you can get it. Hope Joker 2 doesn't immediately claw it back. Anyways, the movie we actually saw, The Crow, 8th place.
I feel like it should be lower than that, but whatever.
$4.6 million domestic weekend and total, no worldwide info, $50 million budget.
Oh, get fucked.
I like Bill Skarsgård, but he is, in my book at least, having a rough fucking year.
Yeah, he kind of is, because he had a great time in John Wick 4.
Well, that was last year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was how I was introduced to him, in all honesty.
He was in Barbarian in 2022, I want to say.
Right.
Not the biggest role, but he was good in it.
Yeah. Yeah, between that, Boy Kills World, and now The Crow. Yeah, it's not looking good. Apparently... Oh, that's right, he's going to be in Nosferatu.
You're right!
Yeah, okay.
I have high hopes for that one, because he's good. He's not bad.
No, he's not bad at all.
I mean, he's bad in this, but I don't think there was any saving it.
Yeah. So on that, let's just rip the Band-Aid right off. This movie fucking sucks.
Pretty bad.
It's pretty damn bad.
And it's pretty bad. So, the Crow is a remake of the... No, I'm sorry, it's not a remake of the original 1994 movie. It's a new adaptation of the comic book. They were quite insistent on that.
Right.
And I'm inclined to believe it, because... this is so far removed from the 94 movie that if you called it a remake, I'd be kind of fucking offended. In fact, I'm still offended. But...
You're offended at their attempt to distance themselves from the original so that they don't get as much flack.
I'm offended at... because I can understand the concept of wanting to take another swing at The Crow after 30 years. I mean, sure, they were still making sequels up until, I think, 2005, but... I can understand wanting to take a new big theatrical swing at it 30 years after the fact, and I can understand not just wanting to do a straight remake of the original movie and try to crib that aesthetic because of the fact that that movie is such a beloved cult classic, in part because of the tragic passing of Brandon Lee, which we talk about in our Cinema Synergy episode of The Crow 1994. Check it out if you want, wink wink. But...
and for that one, you should absolutely smash the like button on that, too.
Yeah. Smash that like button. Ring the like button, that's it. We're not Twitch streamers. Well, I guess we kind of are, but very low audience. Anyways.
Yes, and not nearly frequent enough to actually have an audience to begin with.
Yeah, that is kind of the issue, isn't it? Anyways, The Crow. The problem with this movie is that...
everything.
Pretty much everything. It's...
well, okay, so, I mean, you do your bit first.
It's veering so far away from the original that it doesn't really have anything to define it except the worst excesses of Hollywood franchise-based filmmaking. Like, the original The Crow, pretty much, it didn't entirely hit the ground running, but it didn't take it very long to get going. They Batman Begins the hell out of this. But yeah. Batman Begins is a good, engaging movie. This is not. This movie
no, it's not.
Spends the entire time building up to him becoming the Crow, essentially, in the most frustrating, tired, studio executive mandated, nobody actually involved in this gives a fuck kind of way.
It takes forever for the wheels to really get turning. We get an instance of him starting to become the Crow, I want to say like just before halfway into the movie, but then he doesn't actually fully become the Crow until much, much, much later.
I think the inciting incident, because I feel like this isn't a spoiler because it's all over the marketing. The whole point of The Crow is that he rises in the wake of horrible murders to make the wrong things right.
Yeah.
So the concept in this one is Eric and his girlfriend Shelley are killed. Not as a random act. I mean, I guess it wasn't entirely random in the original The Crow. There was a whole thing about them trying to petition better housing for the city's inhabitants or something, and the people who own that building didn't like it, so they sent thugs, or they were the thugs, I don't remember. It wasn't entirely random, but it was random enough.
Mm-hmm.
This is a whole big conspiracy that they spend like 30 minutes building up.
Mm.
And I feel like he doesn't really get going on the Undead Avenger thing at all until... What was it that prompted me to lean in and go, Greg, we're 50 fucking minutes into this movie?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I do remember how the thing that actually got the ball rolling was a thing of, there's no more than a half hour of this movie left at this point.
Yeah, no, the part where the movie actually starts ramping up to be something interesting is in the final 30 minutes, at which point you've just kind of thrown your arms up and gone, too late, man.
Yeah, I give up.
What were we doing this whole time instead?
Mm-hmm.
What? Because it's simultaneously devoid of anything interesting or meaningful and too fucking complicated.
Mm.
Because there's a big conspiracy where... is this a spoiler? Does it fucking matter? Does anybody fucking care?
I mean, I don't know. Do we want to just, for the sake of our respective sanities, do we want to just do the spoiler section now? Because all-encompassing of this movie that's not worth seeing to begin with? I don't know about you, but there's no way I can really kind of build up this movie with any kind of intrigue or tension or whatever. Because I personally do not care.
Yeah, because nothing happens until like 50 minutes in, and it doesn't really get going until the last 30. So there really isn't a way to talk about this movie and actually say anything substantial without getting into spoiler. Because it's all set up!
Yes. The one thing I will say about this movie, and it's not even anything to really do with the movies per se, but of the plot or whatever, but I do genuinely feel like, especially replaying certain scenes in my head, all the actors and whatnot, there's no knockouts or anything, but no one does a bad job, I feel like. Everyone is just, I feel like at a certain point, everyone's just like, alright, we're all part of this shit sandwich. The best we can do is sit here and make it taste as good as we humanly can.
You know what? That's a good point. It doesn't feel like anybody's doing a particularly bad job, just not a good enough job to save it.
The worst thing that happens when it comes to anyone's individual performances in this movie is that every now and again, and to be honest, you really have to listen for it, but every now and again, Bill Skarsgård does ever so slightly go back into his native accent, but it's a couple blink and you miss it moments. Everyone who's in this movie, from Shelley to Skarsgård to even like the villain and his lackeys / sacrifices, everyone who's involved is genuinely doing the best they can, and it shows. No one does a particularly bad job with this movie. They are just, unfortunately, horrifically let down by the rest of the movie.
There's no sense of aesthetic either.
Yeah, or at least not in the same aesthetic as the original film. I don't know. I know that they said the whole thing is like it's a reimagining or whatever, probably so that people don't draw conclusions, but still call it the Crow, so they're going to. A big thing that I remember liking about the original movie, and we also once again talk about this on our Cinema Synergy, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, give a view, a like, a subscribe, and all that. But a big thing that I personally liked in The Crow, which is like one of my favorite things about it genuinely, is how the horrifically dilapidated version of Detroit that they use, the aesthetic and all that, and how everything is set up, goes a lot into making the city and all that have a distinct personality of its own. Because it's not just the story of Eric getting revenge, it's also kind of a story about this city and all the things happening inside of it. There's not really any of that in this film. Any aesthetic that's used is instead like traded in for like just a monumental and long-winded display of human excess. Now, considering the reasons why our characters are engaging in the human excess, I can't really take too many points away from them. But that part is lost, and the movie is worse off for that, amongst many other reasons.
Yeah, no, it's one of those, I don't blame them for not doing the exact same gothic, rundown aesthetic as the original, but the movie, without a replacement sense of aesthetic, the movie feels like it's missing some identity by comparison, which I would hate to do normally, except not really, because, there is no original idea, so I think comparisons are valid to an extent. And in this case, this one feels like it has less of an identity, and that combined with the total lack of anything happening for a good chunk of it, makes it a little harder to watch. So
Yeah, it's
ultimately,
bad.
don't bother. It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. It's a bad movie. I couldn't even recommend watching this just on a whim or whatever. I'm not sure if I've talked about it at all since seeing Borderlands, but I feel like with Borderlands, when like kind of thinking really hard about the movie, I could see a future where that becomes like kind of a weird movie with like a distinct cult following. I don't see that for this film at all.
I did put The Crow above Borderlands because it's the Morbius Madam Web situation, I think.
Yeah.
Except
okay.
no, you know what? That's an insult to Madam Web. Madam Web is entertaining.
Yes, Madam Web is entertaining.
Unlike Borderlands, which is
bad.
Borderlands was remarkable in how absolutely unremarkable it was. It was stunningly incompetent. Just absolute a nothing burger. Here, there's enough identifiable major structural issues where it's just not a fun time. And I do think it's a slightly better movie, but
yeah,
I can't say I'm more likely to watch Borderlands again because that would be a fucking lie. But
no, and that's the thing I struggle with this too, because I would say this and Borderlands are probably so far the two worst movies I've seen this year. And yes, I am keeping in mind the Tyler Perry parody movie that we saw in an empty movie theater.
I'll level with you. I got that above Argyle.
Really?
So much about Argyle pissed me the fuck off, alright?
No, I completely understand that, and for me, Argyle dates kind of like a little gross in its last third too, but it's like, I feel like I would still put Argyle above that film. Not by an awful lot, mind you, but it would definitely be above that.
I can't remember a single thing in Argyle that made me laugh as hard as, oh, this definitely needs to be cut. National deficit.
Alright, that's fair. That is completely fair.
No, once you get to the bottom of the barrel, it gets real hard to rank these things, because it's just...
Yeah.
Okay,
it's just all bad.
I guess the music is pretty good.
The music is solid. Both the score and the licensed music in this movie is kind of solid. I feel like, if nothing else, they probably like, alright, they listened to the original Crow soundtrack, both the license and the score, realized how quality that was overall, and went, alright, we're not going to get to the same level of overall quality, because if anything, the music will overshadow the rest of the movie. But we'll do our best, and the choices of music are good in this film, I would say, overall.
You know what? I figured out how to justify my gut feeling that this is better than Borderlands, and it's the last 30 minutes. The last 30 minutes is not great, but at least pretty solid. And Borderlands has no such instance. The finale of Borderlands is just as lifeless, god-awful, and uninteresting as the entire rest of the movie, whereas at least The Crow amps the game up a little bit at the end. Not nearly enough, but enough to be like, this is slightly better.
You know what? You saying that and me remembering the last 30 minutes does actually put The Crow above Borderlands for me in that ranking.
However, the fact that we had to think about it
yeah,
it's
still not great. Yeah. I want to say I said partway through too, it's like, man, if the last hour, because the movie's like, what, an hour 50 or something like that. If the last hour 10 of the movie had the same vibe as this, then I don't think it would have saved the movie, but it would have been a much more engaging time overall. But I also kind of think about that and go, it's like, yeah, but there would probably be like a kind of whiplash tonal shift at that point for Eric going from not having powers to having powers but not fully understanding what they are, to then becoming the Crow in full force. Somewhere in that, the pacing would probably take a hit at that point.
Yeah. So now that, wow, I like how for all we probably spoiled something along the lines, but who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Who gives a fuck? Don't see this movie.
No, it's bad. But if you don't want any further spoilers on The Crow, Are you okay?
Am I okay?
No, I mean, anybody who theoretically doesn't want further spoilers on The Crow.
Look, man, you got better things to do with your time. You know, you can read some manga. You can smoke some weed.
I know we have the problem where when other people say this was really bad, we tend to perk up a little bit and go, what?
Yeah.
But no, genuinely.
Yeah, the thing is that the two of us have accepted that for different reasons, we are both ultimately not okay, which is why we get interested in movies that launch with a 0% Rotten Tomatoes score, for example.
Oh boy.
I like how that movie was 2 weeks ago and I'm still doing drive-bys at it.
Yeah. Shows what happens when you have a bad movie. Anyways,
Yes.
if you don't want to get spoiled on The Crow 2024, make sure to click away in 3, 2, 1. Now, granted, I've never read the original The Crow comic, so I can't speak to fidelity to the source material. However,
Same.
I do know that at the very least, James O'Barr, the writer of the comic, was involved in at least some capacity in the 1994 movie, so I'm going to assume that one was probably a little closer?
Like, closer to the source material, yeah.
A little bit, at least, one would hope.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I feel like this movie immediately kind of loses the plot by having the bad guy be some kind of centuries-old supernatural man who made a deal with Satan for eternal life by sacrificing other people.
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, feels like it has already lost the plot, because my take on The Crow is he is a supernatural means of avenging mundane wrongs.
Yeah, he's basically a mortal, more edgy Punisher.
Yeah. He's Punisher, but he can't die.
Yeah.
He's Frankencastle.
Wasn't that run really bad? Or was it actually quality?
We'll continue.
Remember reading it. Okay.
Wait, was Frankencastle different from Frank Castle Avenging Angel? I don't remember.
Yeah. Wasn't that a weird-ass run? We shall continue. We shall continue the investigation.
Don't remember now.
But you were saying, that being said, closer to the source material and all that.
Right, yeah, because I feel like by making the Crow a equal opposing reaction to a supernatural ill, it's somehow less interesting.
Right.
I can't explain it, but I would rather see a guy empowered by the forces of life and death that you can't comprehend just kind of raffle-stomping some shit stains than setting some kind of cosmic balance right where it's like, yeah, this guy's cheated death for years, we need you to go deal with him. That's your answer, huh?
Yeah, while also giving no further context on what he can do and all that.
Yeah. This is something I barely ever noticed, but between the font and the colors, I could barely read the opening credits.
You know what? Yeah, I did think about that. When they were showing the opening credits and all, I was like, I could read them. Like, for the most part, I was just like, this is an interesting font decision. And with the lighting on that opening bit, even though it was cloudy, it was the kind of cloudy where it's set on like a cloudy scene on a farm with Eric when he's a little boy because his family, I'm assuming his family horse. They never really talk about that.
No.
They just have it for that intro and then never jump back on it other than a couple flashbacks. He comes across his, I'm assuming, family's horse being stuck in like a catch fence bleeding to death.
And he tries to pull the barbed wire out, but then doesn't work and the horse dies.
Yes. But the whole scene is shot in like a really cloudy area to kind of, I guess, really translate like how depressing it is. But it's one of those kinds of levels of cloudiness where the clouds, if anything, actually trap all of the light. And it just ends up being a very bright and washed out scene. So I can see how someone would have a hard time reading the opening credits with that going on too.
Oh, no. I mean the actual opening credits, like when they're doing all the graphic splashes and whatnot. Because the font is white or light gray. And most of the background is black, but with red and white splashes, but a lot of the times those white or light gray splashes go over the text. So since white on white doesn't pop, I can't read it.
I'm gonna be real, I completely forgot that was part of the movie.
No, it's such a stupid nitpick, and it's something that doesn't matter at all, but I noticed.
Right.
If I've noticed that I can't read the opening credits, something is fucking wrong here.
Yes, like what every movie needs, just the Star Wars opening crawl, with or without the startup of Palpatine has returned.
The dead speak.
The dead speak to me.
Rise from your grave.
So
I thought he was in prison.
Yeah, I thought he was in prison too. And in particular, like, when it shows their rooms with the desks and all that, it's just like, oh, so they're in the Netherlands or something like that. A lot of Nordic countries are known for having, like, prisons with actually, like, a good number of amenities. I don't know if I'm saying the word correctly. Like, desks and actual beds and shit.
Yeah, I think that's because European prisons aren't actually run by corporations, but...
Yes. Yeah. And actually kind of, to the best of their ability, do what they can to actually rehabilitate the inmates. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah. Oh, they're in rehab. okay.
Yeah, that made a lot more sense, because at first I was wondering why this prison was co-ed.
Right, yeah.
I was just thinking, this seems like a big fucking problem waiting to happen.
Yeah, co-ed prison seems like a really bad idea. And granted, that's also where we kind of get our first major tonal shift, because while we're in the prison, Eric meets Shelley, they hit it off, start talking to each other more and more, and then...
I don't understand how, because she just comes up to him and he's just sitting there minding his own business and...
Yeah, just comes up, sits, talks to him, hits him with a dad joke that's so horrible that I physically cannot remember it.
It wasn't even that bad, it's just, like everything else in the movie, it's not good enough to remember.
Yeah. And there's also stuff talked about before the movie, too, kind of talking about the whole grand conspiracy that Shelley and her friends are intertwined in, because we see one of Shelley's friends get killed by this demon, not demon guy sent to hell and all that. The antagonist lackeys are sent to the rehab center to try and find her, and I assume, like, bring her to the demon and kill her. At which point, Eric helps her escape. How Eric figured out how to escape, I have no clue. That's never really talked about. But he's like, go to this window. And at which point, he just goes, you know what? Fuck it. Just takes off his ankle bracelet and goes with her. I'm like, that was a significant change in tone.
Fuck
out of
this
fucking
place. I'm
nowhere.
rehabilitated.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, that line was golden. That line was absolutely golden, but it was a thing of, that's a significant tonal change out of nowhere.
I'll give it this. Him already knowing how to escape from the prison, I actually kind of like that. I think that's a pretty decent character building bit to establish either that he's more competent than you'd initially expect, or alternatively, and I think probably more accurately, that he has the ability and knowledge to escape, what he lacked was the motivation.
Right. And
So-
then Shelley comes across like, yep, here's my very attractive motivation.
Yeah. Yeah. So that happens. They go on the, not quite on the run, because they're still operating in broad daylight, pretty much.
Yeah, which was really wild to me. It's like they're operating in broad daylight. They're still in half of the Teletubbies pink uniforms, which I'm thinking is, someone in this city should recognize those uniforms and call the police.
I mean, is escaping rehab a crime? I don't think it's a crime.
I don't know if it's a crime, but it's definitely one of those things where I feel like, hey, I know that. Who's gonna just like casually walk around in the clothes they wore to rehab that were issued to them by the rehab center? That's just kind of the bit that weirds me out about that specific detail, in all honesty. So I was like, alright, you guys are even more conspicuous now.
There's a montage of them doing stuff, falling in love. It's all very...
diving into human excess.
There's...
She mentions, like, yeah, my friend has this apartment, and he lets me, like, stay here sometimes. Like, bro, if I'm the friend and I come back to that shit, I'd be fucking pissed.
Yeah. Honestly, the line that pissed me off the most was them talking about when they first met, and him asking what she liked about him, and she said, I thought you were quite brilliantly broken. What the fuck does that even mean?
And also, how did you garner that from just a tiny-ass conversation that went on for maybe 60 seconds at most?
The fuck does brilliantly broken mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Nonsense.
He's edge. He is that dark, early 2010s high school edge. Once again, you know what? If there is one thing I can give this movie, is that it does still, not to the same degree as the original 94 Crow, but it still did make me go, it's like, alright, there's a little bit of that nostalgic high school edge in there. Like, it's still present.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of forget the whole middle of this.
Yeah, the whole middle. I mean, I don't know. They get found out. They get captured. They both get murdered. Shelley full-on dies, and Eric is just sent to, like, the in-between land and told it's like, you know, your soul can't rest until you've righted the wrongs, and pretty much just gets forcefully sent back to the land of the living, with no real indication of what's going on, other than he survived. Proceeds to get into fights, still get hit, and... okay, you know what? I don't remember if this was talked about in the original movie, or even in the source material for that matter, but one thing that I did kind of like, because I feel like it's something that you don't really see very often, outside of specific cases like Wolverine, for example, with people who have, like, super healing and whatnot, is that they get hit, and not only do they actually take damage, the process of healing is genuinely immensely painful. Like, I don't feel like that gets portrayed super often.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I did like that.
Especially, they really hammer it in that, yeah, he heals, but he still feels all that pain.
Yeah, he feels every bit of pain that he's going through, and he also feels... there's a part where he gets ran over by a car, and his leg is not only broken, but you see the broken bone and all that.
Because it's
fully
snapped.
exposed. Literally snapped, and then you just watch as it puts itself back together very slowly. It's like, oh, that looks deeply unpleasant.
Yeah, I'll give it that. That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I have powers, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Tries to go after the guys, fails, dies, goes back to the land of the living. Or to the in-between time, and then gets told, you fucked up. You fucked up. It's all over now. It's Jover now. At which point, he's like, I'll make a deal. If you give me the full power to fix this, I'll take Shelley's place going into hell. At which point, we get him fully getting the Crow's powers. And with that, I just saved you an hour and 20 minutes of your life, ladies and gentlemen.
The biggest problem is the movie takes so long to wind up that when there's a slight bit of escalation in the middle, it's not enough to gauge your interest because it's too late, and by the time the end of it rolls around, you've forgotten the middle, so...
Yeah. Yeah. Make no mistake, there are more things that happen, but none of them are really that important, I feel like. Or, like you said, worth remembering for that matter.
No, because there's a whole bit, he loses the powers temporarily in the middle because it turns out that the bad guy can corrupt people into doing whatever their darkest desire is, which usually translates to suicide, except in Shelley's case, where I guess the thing was kill somebody else instead. And I don't know, I feel like he's probably actually just mind controlling them, because this whole deal is stupid.
I mean, I personally felt like he was going for mind control in doing all that. But yeah, Eric temporarily loses his powers because the whole thing is like his powers are basically like controlled by the love he has for Shelley. Anyway.
And then when he finds out that she was mind controlled into stabbing somebody else, apparently that makes him doubt her for not telling him. And then he loses his powers because the angel guy or whatever he is tells him the opposite of love isn't hate, it's doubt. Man, fuck you!
Yeah! I mean, I don't know. I feel like the opposite of love can be hate without a shadow of doubt. It'd be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I fucking hate that person.
The opposite of love is indifference, you stupid fuck.
Yeah.
Look, I am not a relationship expert by any stretch of the imagination, #single life, but the thing is that I know relationships aren't fucking perfect. Relationships aren't built on some pure ideal of constant fucking, oh, my partner can do no goddamn wrong. There's doubt. There's challenges. Love is your ability to overcome it. And the fact that, oh, I watched my fucking girlfriend stab somebody to death.
Stab a motherfucker.
Shook me up a bit. Doesn't mean I don't love them. It just means they're a complex human being and I need time to sort out my fucking feelings. So, if that's what you think fucking love is, then I need to fucking file a complaint. I need to go to your boss. I need to ask him to define the terms of the contract.
Yeah, I need to talk to your manager, Cupid. Cupid's not in right now. I was like, well, you're bad at your fucking job, so I need him. He gets shot, actually dies again. He just gets told, you fucked up, you doubted her. It's like, yeah, no shit, I just watched someone I love stab a motherfucker to death. That'll shake anyone up, dog. Like, that's fucking stupid. Yeah, again, at that point, he makes the deal and fully becomes the Crow. And at that point becomes a certified badass for the last 30 minutes of this film.
And not only does he become the Crow, complete with an actually pretty badass action scene, but it also includes adopting the completely, in this context, unnecessary iconography. Like, oh, he stops wearing the black coats he's been wearing throughout the whole movie and puts on another black coat.
Yeah!
And then puts the Crow makeup on his face for no reason. Other than he's becoming the Crow, you see.
You know what? One bit that did just pop back up in my head that I kind of went, this is both jarring, a little in bad taste, and also far too late, is that the moment before he fully becomes the Crow, he meets up with a mutual friend of his and Shelley's, at which point they get found out and his buddy gets shot and killed. But then Eric gets shot, comes back, goes in the badass mode, kills all of the henchmen, and then there's just a scene of him, like, smoking a blunt with both his dead best friend and one of the dead hitmen sitting next to him on the couch, at which point he just gives, I want to say he gives the blunt to the dead henchman, and just is like, I need you to hold this for me. I'm just like, this isn't good.
That's the closest we got to the original The Crow, I think.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, that was a bit where I was just like, ooh, that's both not funny and kind of gross.
I thought it was pretty funny. It was rude. It was very rude, but...
I don't know. But yeah, and that happens, and then the last... I don't know if you have more to say, because I feel like I've been talking too much about this film.
Nah, I'm kinda out.
Yeah,
it was bad.
I don't really have anything else. Yeah, it was not a good film. It ends about as you expect. Don't fucking bother watching this movie, ladies and gentlemen.
No, not worth it.
Yeah, save your money. Don't buy tickets to The Crow. Buy some rims.
Yeah, unfortunately I didn't get a chance to see Blink twice because we obviously saw The Crow on Friday. I was busy Saturday night, and then when I checked Sunday night and this evening, as of recording, there was only one showtime, and I couldn't make it.
Right.
So that was unfun. But, hey, you know what? Don't watch The Crow, but thank you for watching this, because it means a lot.
Yes. It means a lot to us that you sat down and watched our rambling.
Next week, we actually have a few different options, but practically speaking, I think we have two options.
Okay.
Because one is Reagan, which, no.
Yeah, a little bit.
I don't have a brain aneurysm, and I don't particularly want a brain aneurysm, so I'm not going to sit through the Dennis Quaid starring Ronald Reagan movie. I just can't fucking do it.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about the movie at all. And while I'm normally someone who will go for, more historical films, I'm just kind of I don't know if I have that one in me, in all honesty.
It's Dennis Quaid, so I have very little doubt that this is going to be a positively filleting take on the former president, but I'm speculating, but also I don't have it in me to find out.
Right.
Fuck Reagan is the overwhelming
is the
sentiment
takeaway
here.
Yeah.
There's also, what's it called? You Gotta Believe? Was that it? It's a sports drama film, which,
okay.
No. The summary is, after dedicating the season to a teammate's ailing father, a group of underdog youth baseball players make it all the way to the 2002 Little League World Series, culminating in a record-breaking showdown. Nah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no.
So, our practical options. Afraid, but it's an emphasis on the AI, because it's the one about the smart house.
Oh, yeah. It's I can pay your bills for you. It's no, thank you.
Yeah, that's out. There's also 1992, which is a drama film. Apparently, I think it might also be it might also be a heist thriller focused around the 1992 Los Angeles riots.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. There are actually apparently showtimes for that. So, I'll say it, if I can make that one and if I actively feel like engaging with anything after I get off of work, then probably that one, but most likely I'm probably seeing Afraid.
Yeah, as I say, for this one, you got you've got Tyrese Gibson, Scott Eastwood, and Ray Liotta. Oh my.
How many movies does he have left? He's been dead for a while.
Yeah.
He's been dead for over 2 years.
Oh, apparently this is the last one.
The actual last one, huh?
I mean, according to the filmography on Wikipedia,
right.
Which is, perfectly accurate, this is the last one.
It's peer-reviewed.
Yeah, I know, I'm leaning towards that. I'm leaning towards 1992, I would say, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, you know what? We'll shoot for that one, and if I get the chance to see Afraid, we'll see.
Right.
But regardless of what we end up watching, this has been Under the Bridge with Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll.
And with Greg, aka Greg.
And we'll catch you all next week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye!